Hello, everybody. This is for if you weren't able to make the webinar on Monday, just about meal prepping tips. So today it's going to be kind of a short webinar, nothing crazy. When it comes to meal prepping, I just want to share a couple tips and just a couple actionable strategies that you can do when it comes to meal prepping. And one of the things that I noticed from a lot of the clients that I've worked with over the years, almost over the last 5 years, is that I think sometimes when we look at meal prepping, we look at it as this big daunting task, right? Or like, if you hear like what a typical meal prepping is, it's like you think of bodybuilders, you think of people that go ahead and prep um, like 7 days, 5 days at a time, right? And for a lot of us, myself including, that can be pretty daunting to do, and it can be very time consuming. And for a lot of us, when we think about that, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So when we look at meal prepping, there's a couple benefits here and why I really firmly believe that anyone that has a lot of success with their weight loss goals, maintaining, if it's gaining weight, if it's performance goals in the gym or whatever it is from their nutrition, I really do feel like meal prepping in some capacity is a must, or planning ahead is a must. Because what tends to happen is when we don't plan ahead, we've all been there. It's like, oh shoot, what do we do? We look at the watch. It's like, oh darn, it's 5:30 at night, and we didn't have anything ready to go, and we all go out to eat, or we do that, and then we do that multiple times throughout the week, and then it can be very hard if let's say we're working on let's say it's a weight loss goal. Let's just pretend, or it's any other goal, right? It can make it kind of hard to do that if we are constantly, going out to eat, or if we're not planning ahead, right? Or maybe it's like you're trying to increase more fiber, or you're trying to increase more fruits and vegetables. Well, if we're not planning ahead and we're not meal prepping and we're always going out to eat a lot, that does make it a little more, it makes it challenging. It's not something that can't be done, but it does make it significantly challenging. And I know for a lot of people that have a lot of success, the more variables that we can control, the easier it's going to be to reach our goals. And now I preface that, but one of the things I want to say is that's not to say that we shouldn't go out to eat, because we absolutely should. Life's too short not to enjoy your favorite foods and be able to go out to eat. But if we're wanting to build something that's sustainable and have a healthier lifestyle, maybe compared to what we're already doing, I really do feel that meal prepping is a must in some capacities. So when we break it down, there's a lot of different ways that you can meal prep. And you want to sit down and think about what's going to work the best for you. Because if we look at the benefits of meal prepping when done and done correctly, right, is it should save you a lot of time, and it should really help you be able to stay on track to your health and fitness goals or whatever nutrition goal that you have. That is the really good fundamental concept of meal prepping, right? That's going to be the main benefits. You're going to be more in control. It's going to be easier from a budget perspective, because you're going to be able to know what you need to get when you go to the grocery store. It's just going to make things a lot smoother when it comes to your meal times, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever the case may be. It's just going to help you be more control into your nutrition, and you'll be able to make those changes easier because you've planned ahead. The big takeaway here that I will tell you is when it comes to meal prepping, and it comes to planning it, and it comes to reaching your goals, is planning ahead. I can tell you from a lot of the clientele that I've worked with over the last 4 to 5 years, if we don't plan ahead, those are usually the weeks that I tend to see clients where we feel like we've struggled a little bit. And again, this framework I'm going to give you today isn't something that's going to take a lot of time. Isn't something that's going to seem like this super daunting task, right? Because nobody has time for that, right? So when we look at meal prepping, there's going to be a couple ways that you can do this. The number one, the most popular way that people do, and is the one that I least recommend, which is why I want to get it out of the way first, is where we prep the 5 to 6 to 7 days at a time, right? For a lot of us, that is just not feasible, right? When we look at that type, where I see that be very feasible for clients and stuff, is bodybuilding clients or someone that's really busy, and they just like that. I do have a considerable amount of clients that do like to do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when I look at where I see most people see the most success when it comes to meal prepping is going to be these next couple ways. And what those are going to be is you can either prep the night before, 2 days before, or 3 days before. So I'll say it again. You can prep the day before, 2 days before, or 3 days before. Now, I will tell you from personal experience on myself and from the clients that I work with, those are going to be the ones that work the best. And those are the ones I personally have had the most success with and stuff like that. So why I like those better than the other one is for a lot of us, we don't want to have to like keep things in the fridge for a long period, like prepping a whole bunch of things that far in advance because if we let's say we prep a salad, right? Is we don't want that to sit in the fridge for a couple days, right? We want to sit in the fridge for maybe 1 to 2 days, right? And stuff like that. If we prep it the night before, we can have it ready to go for the next day. So when we look at it just from like a freshness perspective, I tend to find that works really, really well. And again, the night before works great too because you can dedicate some time in the evening to get your meals ready for the next day. And usually for a lot of us, we think about meal prepping. It's not we have to meal prep every meal. That's another misconception that I've heard over the years is we think that we've got to meal prep everything, right? We maybe know the person or maybe we've seen it on social media where we do have that person that has every single meal prep from breakfast all the way down to dinner. For a lot of people, what I will tell you that works the best is to have for a lot of us that are working is, having our lunch and maybe a snack or two prepped, meal prepped. That tends to work really well. If we're having a snack or two throughout the day, we've got those prepped with us. If we're, so we don't go out to eat for lunch to help save on the budget, we meal prep our lunch, and that tends to work really, really well. So you can choose whichever one that you want to do. Is it 7? Is it 6? Is it 5? Is it 4? Is it 3? Is it 2? Is it 1? Right? There's no wrong answer here. So the framework is how many days before do you want to meal prep? Right? So just think about that. That'll be the first thing. We're going to check some boxes. Check one. What does that look like for you? And again, the other thing too to think about is, it's one of those things too that you can, it depends on the week, right? Like I will tell you that from like personal experience for myself is most of the time I will prep my meals the night before or 2 nights ahead of time. There are instances where I do have more prepped, and it just depends on the week. So letting yourself be very fluid with that. So once we kind of get that out of the way, it's like, okay, I know the days that I'm going to do. Then the next step is going to be like, okay, what is it that I want? So this is where I think sitting down once a week with yourself and kind of writing something down, or like one of the things that my wife and I do is we sit down once a week on Friday or Saturday before we go to the grocery store, and we kind of plan out what we want for the week, right? We kind of have a very general framework. So we're like, okay, what proteins do we want for the week? What vegetables do we want for the week? What fruits do we want for the week? That's going to kind of be where we start most of our shopping. And so that's going to help really set up our meal prep. And that's going to be step one. Going to keep it super easy. So when we go to the grocery store, we can kind of get everything that we want for the week. One trip, we're done. Sometimes we have to go back for some other odds and ends. But again, it's going to really help you save time to try to make only one trip or 2 trips max to the store. So we got that all out of the way. Once we figure out what we're going to have. Then the other thing is if we're looking at it from a protein perspective, right? If you're okay with leftovers, which I love leftovers, I think they're awesome. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to prep your proteins ahead of time. That is going to be one of the things that my wife and I do a lot. And I actually have had a lot of clients do, and they've had a lot of success is let's just say, for example, you really like chicken breast, for example. So what we'll do is maybe on a Sunday afternoon or any day, it doesn't matter. We'll cook up a whole bunch of a protein. So we'll use chicken breast for this example. And then we'll cut up enough of it for myself, for her. You cut it up enough for yourself or whoever else, and do it for a couple days. Like usually 2 to 3 days. You can stretch it out a little bit farther, but I would not recommend that, right? 2 to 3 days, and that's kind of where I like to say, like when we look at meal prepping, that's kind of like I like the 2 to 3 day range. Sorry, the 1 to 3 day range. Excuse me, just because I feel like that's very practical, and we can kind of rotate our proteins, right? So you pick your protein. You can kind of chop it up. You can put it in a container. So like what I do is I'll cut it up. I'll put it in a container. It's already in my fridge in a spot. And then from there, I can prep everything else. So like if we're doing like a salad or any of that for, let's say lunch, let's say I'm doing a salad with a protein. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. And let's say I wanted to take the chicken and I want to incorporate it in the salad. Well, what I'll do is I'll just take a container, I'll weigh my portion out, and then I'll put that in a container, and then I'll put my salad in another container, and then I'll put those in the fridge. So then they're going to be ready to go for the next day. And so then all I have to do is when I'm having my lunch, we can just take the salad, open it up, plop the chicken breast in there, and boom, we're good to go. Super easy way to do it. So think about it. Prep your proteins ahead of time if possible. If that's something you enjoy, if not, you can always do it the night before. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm trying to think of like, what's going to save you the most time. So cook your proteins ahead of time, put them in a container, keep them stored somewhere. If you're someone that likes to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, like myself, or if that's a goal of yours, what you can also do ahead of time too to even save you time to do a little bit of prep work here is you can cut up your vegetables that you get from the store. You can put them in containers, right? And then all you would have to do is like, okay, maybe you're making something for lunch. Okay, I need a protein. I need a vegetable. Oh, I need some veggies. Okay, cool. Protein is chicken. You're making a salad or whatever the case may be. Boom. Put your vegetables in a container. Put your protein in a container. Make it super easy. Then it almost kind of comes like a dump into the container and you're done, right? If you do it that way, I will tell you personal experience from what other clients have told me is that works really well. It makes it super quick. Now, is it a little bit time consuming on the back end? Yes. But really, when we look at it, it's just going to be how long it takes you to cut and prepare things. That's going to be another way that's going to help save you time when it comes to meal prepping. The next thing that's gonna save you time, and this is something that I think a lot of people like to do if you like leftovers, is going to be what you have for dinner is what you have for lunch, right? I love leftovers. I think it's great, and I think that's another way too that you can save time. So, like for example, let's say you have tacos for dinner, right? What you can do is like, okay, you're gonna cook up a little bit extra for the next day. And then when you're done, the prep work's already done for you, right? It's like you're killing two birds with one stone. Then you can just go ahead and get out your containers that you would like. And then you can just go ahead and put your taco stuff in there, put it in the containers, seal it up. And then you can go ahead and put it in, the refrigerator. Boom, it's already ready to go. So when you leave for, your work in the morning or wherever you're going, boom, it's right there. Or even if you're not, maybe you work from home, it's already in the refrigerator. It's ready to go. That's going to be another way that you can save a ton of time. And so, one of the things that I always encourage everybody to kind of think about is when I talk about meal prepping with clients is I want you to think of it through the lens of like, okay, I have these set nutrition goals, whatever they are. I know meal prepping is going to help me get to those set goals. What I want to do here is I want to think about how can I make this as easy as possible, or how could I save myself some time, right? And these strategies that I've shared with you so far are going to be the ways to do that. You may come up with other ones, but those are going to be the ones that I have found has worked really well. You can also get, ready to go items like they have tuna packets that are all ready to go. You can just buy those at the store. If you don't want to just get it from a can, if you're enjoying tuna, you can kind of look at some things like that. Maybe some already prepared things if you are pressed for time. That is going to be more expensive, right? Because someone else is doing it for you. But I have had clients in the past that with their busy lifestyle that it just wasn't conducive for them to take that time. And so what we did was we just like, okay, well, let's go get some already prepared, already cut vegetables or already cut fruits and things like that. And it'll make it super easy. So I want to sum this up for everyone here that's going to be watching this on a recording. When we look at meal prepping, it's not intimidating. Kind of just, you got to figure out what works best for you. So experiment with it. This is one of the things that I really encourage all the clientele that work with me is experiment with what works best for you, right? If you find out that prepping, one meal for 5 days works really well for you, awesome. If you find out that you're somebody like myself that really likes to prep things a day or two in advance, awesome. Or if you're someone that, you like to prep for an entire week. Again, there's no wrong way to do meal prepping. I think sometimes we're kind of afraid that we got to follow some sort of a system. So that's going to be that's step one, is figuring out how many days ahead of time you want to prepping your proteins accordingly. I mean, ahead of time, excuse me. And then making a list, like making a grocery list, take, 5-10 minutes, sit down with yourself or sit down with your partner, significant other, kind of figure out what you're going to eat for the week, go do your grocery list, and then go from there. So then, like, what are you going to do? Outside of that, it's just really going to kind of come with kind of experimental trial and error, what works the best for you. A template that I follow, and I really encourage a lot of my other clients to follow if you're really trying to increase your protein, which I feel like a lot of people do, or a lot of people should, excuse me, is you want to think of it, you want a protein and a veggie, right? Those are going to be how you want to build your meal. Okay, protein and some veggies. And then you can kind of fill in the gaps from there. But that's going to be a very simple framework here. So when we look at that as a whole, I hope that you found this webinar very, very valuable, very useful. I wanted to make it very, very actionable so you can go ahead and take these tips and you can go ahead and apply them right away. And you can go ahead and start to see the results from doing that. I want you to be able to apply everything that you've learned here. If you have any questions for anybody that is watching this recording, not watching it live, you can go ahead and shoot me an email at schwartzz68@gmail.com. You can also, if you want another way to get in contact with me, you can do it via text message. It's 515-460-1880. That's another way that you can get a hold of me if you have any questions. And for everyone that is watching the webinar and recording, you also do have the opportunity to visit with myself totally free for a free nutrition consultation. You can email me or you can text me. And I'll go ahead and say it again. You can email me again at schwartzz68@gmail.com. Or if you would prefer to text, you can go ahead and text me at 515-460-1880. And I can get you set up on my calendar. We can kind of talk about if there's any way that I can help you achieve your nutrition and fitness goals in any way that I can. I want to again thank you for watching this webinar. We're going to be doing these webinars every one webinar each month, different topics. The next topic is going to be really cool. I'm really excited for that one, just to kind of give you some foreshadowing. It's going to be the supplement do's and don'ts. It's a question I've gotten from clients every year about what supplements should I take? Should I take supplements? How do I know if supplements which ones are good, which ones are bad, right? The supplement industry, unfortunately, is not a very ethical industry. There is a lot of bad stuff that's going on in the supplement world. So I want to make sure that you are equipped if you are choosing to take a supplement, whatever that is. I want to make sure that you're getting good quality supplements. I want to make sure that whatever you're spending money on from a supplemental perspective is giving you what it says it gives. I'm also going to be breaking some myths of like what supplements you do. Are there certain supplements you don't really need or doesn't really give the benefit of what we thought? I'm going to go over some of them. I can tell you I will not be able to hit all of them. There are just so many. But I'm going to give you a very basic framework of kind of how to navigate supplementation. I'm going to give you some of my supplement recommendations that I recommend to some clients that I've worked with. There's some basic supplement recommendations that I even follow myself, my philosophy on supplements, what I think of them as a whole, and how to choose high quality supplements. There will be a Q&A afterwards. It'll be in person at the Ames Fitness Center. It'll also be via Zoom like this. So if you're not able to catch it, you're not able to come in person, we're going to be streaming it via Zoom. So if you're interested in that, definitely wait for an email. The time and the date is to be determined. It is going to be on a Monday in May, but we are still trying to decide what Monday we want to do it. So the date is to be determined, and the time is to be determined. Right now, I'm thinking 6 o'clock, but again, it is to be determined. So wait for an email to go out for that. But you're not going to want to miss the supplement do's and don'ts. I'm super, super excited to bring that to you. And then before we hop off here, I do apologize for my voice. I have lost it apparently. I do apologize if this doesn't sound very good via the recording. I am doing the very best I can with the voice I got. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to text me or feel free to email me. Or if you're at the Ames Fitness Center, the South location, the North location, you see me, you want to stop and just ask me a couple questions, please do. Do not be a stranger to come up and talk to me. If I am not seeing anybody, I would love to sit and chit chat with you, love to get to know you, and love to see if there was any way that I can help you in any capacity. Don't be a stranger. And with that being said, I cannot wait to get this webinar to your hands for you to watch it. Have a great rest of your evening, and hopefully we will chat very, very soon.